Welcome everyone. IPDX21 will give everybody just a couple minutes to get in, and before we get started, it looks like we've got about 4 more minutes. Thank you guys for being here. If you could go to the chat and introduce yourself and let us know where you guys are from, that would be wonderful. So my name is Angie and I'm from Clackamas ESD and I'll be your host today. Nice to meet you, Rob.
Nice to meet you too.
I'm glad you guys were able to make it. I know a lot of people have been having internet issues. I have as well. That's why I'm here at work and not at home. Haven't been in well, it's been about a year. So it's been kind of weird being back. Welcome, Maggie. All right, let me go ahead and share my screen. All right, Chris, you are now a co-host as well. And for those of you who are just coming in, if you could take a minute to go to the chat and introduce yourself, let us know where you're from. Welcome, Jennifer. Welcome, Greg.
Thank you.
All right, so this is IPDX 21, now and next. So for the next 5 weeks, we'll have a series of virtual teaching and learning opportunities. On Tuesdays will be new learning, and on Thursdays will be a chance to be able to connect with others and network around the topics for each week. So IPDX has been going on for the last 20 years. I've been joining it for the last 2 years. And we are really focused on supporting you guys this year with managing the face-to-face distance or hybrid, whatever that looks like for you this year, and have created the next series of learning opportunities to help support you to that end. And we couldn't have done this without our partnerships through the ESD, as well as Comcast Infinity and T-Mobile, helping to support us so that we can focus on the learning, and our technology will work and allow us to make connections with our students. In addition, we'd like to thank our partner associate level sponsors, Schools PLP, Promethean, TIG, Equity EDU, and Seesaw. And if you guys would take a minute and read through the shared agreement with me, I'm hoping that you will agree with me and move forward in these as we continue our session today. In every chair, a learner. In every chair, a leader. Speak to be understood. Listen to understand. Return to being present. Work to stay engaged. Maintain a safe space for meaningful conversations. Take care of yourself and take care of each other. This is from Castle. And today, if you would like to, we can take notes together. This is a tradition for the last several years. These are collaborative notes. You can type in the bit.ly up at the top, or you can use the QR code to be able to take notes and be able to reflect on these back together. I know I always miss a few things, so collaborative notes are a great thing to go back to and build on as we go through. So if you go to the link, bit.ly, let me see if I can put that in the chat for you. And you should be able to go there, and then you can click to any of the sessions from today or over the next coming weeks and be able to access all of your notes there, and over the next several months if you want to reflect back on that. Take a few minutes to tweet on Twitter, IPDX21, and share what you're learning today and what you're talking about and what was meaningful to you from today's session or the sessions coming up. And today our session is 3 powerful media tools to use with online learning. And this is presented by Chris Giles, Canvas Administrator and TOSA with the Beaverton School District, and Christina Schultz, Library and Instructional TOSA from the Beaverton School District. And with that, I'm going to hand it over to you guys, and I'm going to stop sharing. And my name is Angie, and I'll be your host. Should you guys have any questions, feel free to just add it to the chat. Thanks.
Hey, awesome, thanks. And Christina's going to share. Awesome, thanks, friend. All right. Hopefully all of you are doing okay. I'm assuming because you're here, you have some power in your physical life at this point in time, whether you're staying at a hotel, which is sad because I know some friends have said that they've been having to stay at hotels because there's no power. But hopefully you guys are safe, and thank you, and Hank, and welcome to being here with us today. So, all right.
And I was on mute. I also said the same thing, but
did you? I love it.
Here's a link to the slide deck. Hopefully that link works for you. And you're more than welcome to hop on that as you go. So hi, my name is Christina. I work with the Beaverton School District. I have an interesting title. I'm called a Library Instructional Technology and Technology TOSA. I work with teachers to help model instruction in the classroom in the use of technology. And thanks for coming. I know this is a day without power. We appreciate you guys being here. So you already got an introduction of who we are. But we want to know a little bit about you. So you did put some information in the chat, who you are and what's your school district, but specifically, so we can gear this presentation to you, what access to digital tools such as the 3 we are hoping to cover, WeVideo, Canvas, or other media tools do you have? So if you can pop that in the chat, that would be great. Or you can unmute yourself and just shout out. We're fine.
Yeah, we have a small group, so we're okay with having super informal conversations today. So that is totally fine. But access to all 3, that's awesome. Thanks, Kimberly.
Awesome. Ooh, Canvas Administrator, awesome.
WeVideo, beautiful, no Canvas access, yeah.
Okay. And so even if you don't have Canvas access, totally fine. Minimally, the first tool that we're going to cover is something that you don't need any Canvas access for. Are you using, Greg, Google Classroom in your building, or
what is your LMS type?
Yeah, so we're actually K5, and so we're actually using Seesaw.
Seesaw. Okay.
Okay.
And then in our upper grades we're using K5. So yeah, sorry, in upper grades we're using Google Classroom.
And then a good question would be, I'm assuming all of you probably have access to your Google School District, right? And if you're not, that's totally fine too. But definitely, with Christina's going to share with you with WeVideo, but having Google access or Google Classroom, sorry, a Google account will be a huge proponent for WeVideo. So
It'll be helpful. And so
Yeah.
hopefully we're gonna during our session today, we're gonna do some interactive things, have you guys do exactly what we would have students do, and make it engaging. So because our focus is on the SEL connection, according to Nick Morgan from the great book, Can You Hear Me? There are 5 main issues with virtual learning: lack of feedback, lack of empathy, lack of control, lack of emotion, and lack of connection. Using media tools can really help support many of these issues that we are seeing with our students. And we'll try to walk through some relationships and examples for how. Do you have anything to add, Chris?
No, I think it's fantastic. I think those are really good things to point out because we are pretty much in an all online environment. So,
and part of it is this great little kid. Fundamentally, as every teacher knows, this job of education is a human one. It's about relationships. One of the really great things about media tools is that you can develop those relationships and use them with kids. When teachers are able to prioritize relationships and focus on the quality of their connections with kids, we see over and over again the teachers feeling more effective and the kids feeling more engaged, learning and feeling more effective. So that's kind of the goal of SEL and what we would like to focus on. So our question for you, just as a stop for a moment, is what are the best strategies for encouraging students to assert themselves in constructive ways do you currently use in your classroom? If you could just offer one up, that'd be great. You can put it in the chat or you can unmute. Anyone? Give you a second.
So I'll say something.
Okay.
So I don't know if this is getting at what you're talking about, but and so I teach technology K5 generally. This year I'm actually working with the teachers who are on the school's PLP platform. So my job's a little different this year, but typically when I'm in the classroom, we do actually a lot of project-based activities where kids are given kind of like a design challenge, and we use Spheros a lot. And
Oh, yeah,
so they're using Spheros in their coding skills to kind of overcome the challenge. And so they're able to use some of their own creativity and thoughts in that.
Okay, great. Anybody else?
I just want a little clarification on what you meant even by asserting themselves.
So when you're co-constructing knowledge, you're giving students an ability to define concepts. You're giving them an ability to, if for example, in the Sphero challenge, you can tell students that you want them to design a maze or a course. And so what kind of open-ended project-based, do you have any of those kind of projects in your classroom?
Yeah, we do a lot with Scratch in our program, and giving them choices and allowing them to create projects from that. Lots of choice, I guess. So
no, those are great too. Yeah, absolutely.
making
Choice
sure
would be good.
kids have multiple ways.
Yep.
Okay.
That's good.
Super. So the first tool that we're going to look at today is WeVideo. Why WeVideo? So one of the things that's really great about it is it amplifies student voice. It has a whole bunch of different ways that you can utilize it. So there's project alternative to support speaking and learning and presentation standards. For example, I have seen WeVideo used in Sphero projects. So students can articulate exactly what they did for their Sphero project. And especially in a K-5 environment, they can use the WeVideo app if you have it on an iPad, and they can follow the Sphero around, taking a video and utilizing it that way. There is a collaboration if you have the pro account for WeVideo, where students can collaborate on the same video, and so they can use that. And they can also create, or teachers can use it to create tutorials to assist videos or students as well.
I have a question.
Yeah.
With the WeVideo, do you know, this is kind of more nuts and bolts, but is it like a school-wide subscription that you have to get, or how does that work? Do you know?
Yes, we do know, Chris.
I mean, technically you could do both. I mean, schools that don't have a subscription, then obviously their only alternative is probably to use the free version, which is you can log in with Google. They are a student privacy agreement application, meaning they've signed on. So therefore they're basically approved for any school in Oregon to use. So if you're not using the paid version, you don't have to have that fear of not being able to use it because of student privacy. But with that case, we are in our school district, we have a full license, but we only have 5,000 pro licenses. And so what we do is it's kind of like a library subscription where basically every 3 weeks I go into the console and I just take people who haven't been active for a while and just convert them to free. And then that frees up more pro version accounts. So that's the way we use it. Some school districts pay for site license for everybody, gets one no matter who. But 5,000 is pretty much a pretty good amount for us because there's not 5,000 people using it every day all the time. So.
Yeah, well, and for me, I mean, I only see about 800 kids district wide. So
yeah,
we're not talking about thousands.
Yeah, and I don't remember the price tag on what it is per student. I just don't have that number. But and then we use
Sure.
a Google Sync, so all the students log in through Google, and we manage it that way. So we know that if you're a third grade student, you are logged in and you're using a third grade account, just because we have different permissions for high school, middle school, and elementary.
Super. So what we'd like to do right now is walk you through WeVideo and show you how to use it. I did put the link to logging onto WeVideo in the chat. So if you can try to do that on a separate screen real quick, or minimize the Zoom screen and do it on the side. Hopefully I can walk you through that, doing it side by side. You can do it through Canvas if you have a Canvas account, but minimally for us, we've been just sending kids directly to wevideo.com. and having them sign in with Google. So I'll give you a second, and if you want to either give a thumbs up, thumbs down, if you were able to complete that, if you need more time. And we can kind of show you what some of the tools are.
Is it just the dashboard WeVideo or the login WeVideo?
So did you, here, I was moving away from it for a sec. So if you sign in with Google, were you able to do that? And if
No,
you're
I'm at
logged,
home. I'm at home and I don't actually work for, like, I'm not a teacher yet. I'm working on my recertification. So
Yeah,
if you have a
that's totally
Google,
fine.
yeah, and if you have your own Google account, you can go ahead and that's totally fine. You can sign in and use your own Google account to get that free
just
version.
go to Google. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, Christine and I are like, I mean, I will assume most people today in their working field have a Google account because it's pretty much difficult to do anything without a Google account. So if
But
you
just
don't
for
have one,
fun-
that's totally fine.
Well, I
And
do, but well, I use my husband's. That's bad, but we always just do it for ours. But I'll look and see if I can do that.
Yeah, and for fun this morning, I logged in with a Yahoo account because I have an old school Yahoo account. So there's different accounts. And somebody just gave me a look like, you have a Yahoo account? It's true.
I do. I have a Yahoo account. And you can use
it's
Facebook.
my
It says right
account
here,
for
log in
junk
with
mail.
Facebook too. So there's other ways. I mean, most districts are in our school in our state are pretty much Google districts. And so we pretty much can guarantee most will jump in and say, oh, I can log in with my work email through Google. But as a personal, you may not have one. So again, like Christine said, you could potentially create an account or log in with Facebook. I'm not a big fan of logging with Facebook because of security reasons, and I don't really trust them. So Google, I'm okay with a little bit more so, but.
And if that doesn't work, you can follow along, but
yeah,
it is a little bit kind of fun if you can do stuff. So, so real quickly, when you do log in, this is the dashboard, hopefully that you see. So one of the great things about WeVideo is they try to make it as student friendly as possible. This kiosk does look a little different if you are on an iPad. So some of the features are a little bit different, but you can still access it through the browser on an iPad. So even if you get the app, it's fine. So on the dashboard, you have different options. You have video, recording, GIF, and podcast. So those are some 3 great starting points. And I'm just going to do a little something with my screen here for a second and try to let you see that they also right here on the beginning part, they have some different templates that students can use. So some of those templates are super fun and they can give you some ideas. For us for today, if you've logged on, what I would like you to do, and I try this out with students all the time, so if you can trust me, it hopefully will work for you, is you can just press the button that says recording. So if you can give that a whirl, try recording. And this is one of the things that, let's see if I can do it. It's working for me. Come on, there it goes. Computer lags. So this is one of the things that you can do with students. You can say, we're going to do a class recording today. Go to WeVideo and just click recording. And it will go directly to giving them an option of what kind of recording you want them to do. So the great thing about WeVideo is it gives you 3 different options. The first 2 are free. The last one is only available if you have the paid version. So you can record your webcam for a quick share of yourself. You can record your screen, which has some amazing stuff, and you can record your screen and your webcam. So for today, I'm going to, if you wanted student interaction, I'm going to just record my webcam. Actually, I might record my screen because I don't know if I can record my webcam while Zoom is recording my webcam. So might be a little complicated. So I'm going to record my screen. You guys, if you can try to just record your webcam for 2 seconds. You can just click on that and then hit next. And give it a second. It's going to ask you to choose an audio source. I'm using my Bluetooth headphones, so I'm going to click next. And then you can, this is a kind of cool feature. You can record your entire screen, your particular application window, or a Chrome tab. So one of the great things about this is when I work with students, I ask them to do what I'm about to show you, is we work, sorry, computer lags, come on. So close. It just won't do it. All right then. All right, so I have them go to YouTube and search for videos that are Creative Commons. And then we look at green screen effects, or we look at different things that they might want to show. So for right now, I am going to do the green screen effects over here. Sorry. And now it's not going to be there. So I'm going to do this one right here. I'll just take a video of this. And then you can see that I am recording my screen. It will show up YouTube theoretically eventually. And it will just record inside that tab. So inside the tab, it puts a little blue circle around what it's recording. And for students, they can see that as well. At the top of the screen, it says it's sharing this with WeVideo, and they can grab various clips. It's recording this whole entire time. And when I'm done, I can just push stop. If I push stop, that video clip will appear back over here on WeVideo. And if I hit save, I can hit record again for all those mistakes I made with the internet, but I'm gonna hit save. And you'll see it will populate it up here in WeVideo, and in a second, it's gonna put it in video track 1. So, though my example was not super great, if you wanna take a moment and just try to record yourself using the webcam feature, I'm going to make a 30-second, 5-second recording and just try that out. I'll give you 5 seconds to do that. If you need any help, let me know. And then we'll go to the second thing we're going to do together. Okay, so was everybody able to make a quick recording? You can give me a
Yep.
thumbs up. Oh, good, good. And it showed up in track 1?
Yes.
Okay, great. And then, just 1 second. Then what we're gonna do you have, and just as a quick survey, is everybody signed in with a free or a premium account?
I have a premium account through school.
Oh, sweet, okay. So we had one person that had a free account, and then everybody
Free.
else has free, okay. So I did have that covered. I'm just pulling it up right now. So if you give me 1 second. I have a green screen clip for you. So the next thing that we can do is show how the different tracks in WeVideo work. So I recorded a green screen video for you this morning. So I'm going to pop that into the chat. If you are free, then you should be able to add that to your Google Drive. If you are on the paid account, then what you do is, a great thing about WeVideo is they have up here under the star, they have a whole bunch of preloaded template videos. So if you click on any of them, it'll give you a preview of what it looks like. Right now, the key search word is idea. Every time you log into WeVideo, it's a different prompt. So I'm just going to type in green screen. And the one I really like is green screen tent. So for me, if you have a pro account, for the person with a pro account out there, I have this green screen tent clip, and I'm just going to click on it, and all of WeVideo is drag and drop. And so I'm going to drag that down to video track 2. If you have to use the Google Drive link, no problem at all. Up here in the second tab over is a little folder with a star on it. My computer is lagging again, I apologize, but if you click there, you can import content. So that's what you would want to do using that link. And you would want to select import from Google Drive. So you would just click on Google Drive. And if you had saved that to my drive, you'd be able to click on that link. I called it green screen. I have quite a few green screens. It's this one. And so you could select it from Google. It would import it into your media, and then you would be able to see it in this preview screen as well. And add it. Sorry, my computer is a little slow.
I was going to say too, Christine, while we're doing that, and I just put it in the chat, another reason why having a Google account for anybody who does not is because when you have a Google account, you can easily import from Google Drive and export to your Google Drive. So it's really a very integrated component to WeVideo is having that Google account. So.
Right. So in either event, there is a clip for you. And the reason that this is awesome is what kids like is they like to record a video of themselves, like you might have just done, and then they like to see what that looks like layered. So one of the great things about WeVideo, and I've run this with K through, well, probably I would say second graders through seniors. They love the magic of realizing that now that they've laid the second clip on, it's like layers of a cake. So you can no longer see the first clip because that second clip is there. The magic is in the green screen. And so if you double click on video 2, there is a little human being in a little square box up on the top. And if you click on the little pen, you should be able to see a dropper. And if you click on the dropper, you can make anything come straight through. So especially with it, when it comes in the form of the tent, I'm going to decrease the sound there. Then they can see the magic of different things coming through and watching that happen. They have a lot of fun with that. In like less than a few seconds, when they realize that they can layer clips like that, students will start layering all sorts of things, especially if you're talking about second graders through fifth graders. They get very into finding as many clips as they possibly can and adding them and seeing how many different levels they can create. If you have the pro account, what they really love to do is come in here and type things like kittens, or maybe it's just me that likes to type things like kittens, and throw in kittens that are now in your tent. And they create all kinds of fun stuff. So really quickly, for students, it gets them onto video creation. When they realize that green screen can add different elements, they love it. And then I usually walk them through how to add their voice to it. So either they can record themselves on a webcam and add their voice, or if I give my computer a second, they also have the option of clicking this button right here and they can narrate. So they can narrate an entire video, walk through it after they've created kittens popping through tents, and they can tell you a story. One thing that's great about WeVideo is that once they are done creating, sometimes at the beginning of class, I would have students create just a 5-second video of them sharing their webcam. They're going to just share their webcam, share a video of themselves, tell me about their day. It doesn't have to be them in the video, which is one of the things they really like. It can be kittens, and their day can be all about, I was surprised today because my mom gave me a kitten, et cetera, et cetera. And when they're done, all they have to do is hit finish. And then they can give it a title, but they don't have to. And WeVideo allows you to save it to Google Drive, save it to YouTube, but for them, they most likely won't. And then if they have a Canvas account attached, it will also save it to Canvas. Then they just have to hit export. And what they will see is, oops, not that one. In their Google Drive, they will have, it's this one, sorry. They will have a folder called WeVideo that is created, and all of the WeVideos that are saved are directly in that folder. So it's under their drive, under WeVideo, and it's given whatever name and time. So even if they are using Google Classroom, they can navigate directly to this WeVideo folder to submit an assignment or submit any kind of video. They can also go to their Google Drive and search for whatever they called it. So I'm going to pause there for a second and see if you guys were able to follow along and do that.
Or anybody has any questions or comments, or
Right.
even ideas that they've used WeVideo for themselves with their students or in their classroom.
I have a question just in terms of kind of logistics, I guess, or where do the kids do their video recording? Are they just doing it all at the same time in the classroom, or did you have a separate space? Or
I think it depends, Christina. Like for me, it would depend on what space I have at the moment, but
Yeah, so it depends on for the kids. What they like to do when they're doing projects is sometimes we go to the library, they'll each find a corner in the library to do a recording. When we're in CDL, obviously they can just go into their own breakout room. So teachers use multiple breakout rooms, put them in a breakout room.
Use their phones.
One of the things, yeah, like so they can use their phones. So that's one of the things they really like with WeVideo is that they're not limited to the video camera on the Chromebook. They can go back to the editor and they can import video files from anywhere. So they can import it from Google Drive, Facebook, Dropbox, Instagram, etc. And so it gives them that flexibility that they can record on their phone and they can still use those files. So when they're doing, that's for more of an older set of students, not necessarily.
And I think the challenge when it comes to recording with other devices is, you know, getting that film, that video clip off of that device into a space where you can access it through WeVideo. And so again, you know, a student can log in our school district, a student can log on to a Google Drive on their phone, the app itself, and save their video right to Google Drive if they want to, or they can send it to their Chromebook if they have that access, and then be able to pull it into WeVideo. The camera on the newer, we have the newer Chromebooks, right, Christina, that are, I think, a little bit better than the original. We have, what's the Spin 11s, I think. Audio wise, not the most amazing, but video quality is decent. And then we have portable little tiny green screens that we can set up our students with, and they can move to a space where they have some decent privacy to record, and they can use those green screens if they want to as well.
And what students have also found is if you don't have any green screens, it doesn't necessarily matter. What a lot of my kids would do, and it's a little funky, but not horrible, is they would go out in the hallway, even if it was a white wall, you can still do the color keying for like a red wall or a white wall. I've tried it with this red wall before. My cheeks are a little rosy, my lips are a little rosy, so it might do a little pixelation for that. But even so, and I can show you in a clip right here, if I tried to color key, you can color key all kinds of different things. And so they have a lot of fun with this too. They will, my computer's going a little slow, I apologize. So they'll choose different colors and they'll try to see what they can take out and how it makes the image look, and they'll play around with it. And then you can do that as many times as you want and hit the garbage can every time if you want to choose a different color, etc. So they start getting into that. The other thing that they can use is green construction paper. So if you have the big rolls of construction paper, they go out, they use that, and they love to do recordings like that. It doesn't, if they're making videos, I have had students just make them quickly in the classroom. So just if I wanted to do a quick touch base, they can use a video from their classroom, and there might be background noise. So I just took all the green out of that one. Or you can take out all the white. And then one of the things that they learn kind of quickly is they know how to do like masking, so they can change how much it's actually affecting that. So if there's some edging to it, they can do that as well.
I think a really important consideration when it comes to doing any video, it doesn't matter what your tool is that you're using. And you kind of brought the question, Greg, as far as like where they film, but a good consideration also is, I always tell my students, you have to think of the end product. Is it your goal to have some type of other background in your shot? Then you need to intentionally film with the intention of using a green screen or some type of background that's going to let you have that space. But if your intention is just to record as is, you know, then obviously choosing a good spot's okay. A little less prep, a little less work for them to do. Christina, somebody asked a great question, which is basically how much time would you think it takes to teach second graders? I mean, we both have experience teaching younger kids using WeVideo and using these tools. So what would you say?
So when I have gone into using WeVideo with second graders, and it's a little bit different, I would imagine, because we had some experience going into second grade classrooms when we were back face to face.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So how much does it take and what device they're using if they're on an iPad versus
yeah, what kind of
a Chromebook? I do have, just a second, real quickly, a how to use green screen in 4 steps. And what I have found, because I have taught WeVideo 1.5 million times to students, when I go in, if I just forget all of the tools, I say log in, take a quick video of yourself, let it go in video track 1, green screen it, drag one down. By the time they do those, by the time they do those 2 steps,
It's pretty quick.
yeah, it's pretty quick.
Yeah. And I feel like, and Christina was showing you, there's 2 different modes when it comes to WeVideo. You can use that's called what's called, Christina, the story timeline, I think is the other version.
Right.
And so you can actually flip it to which I would consider an easier timeline to use. You don't have the cutting and all that stuff, and you can do a much easier quick drag and drop. But that is really what I think make WeVideo so simple to use for our younger kids. It's literally drag and drop. And one thing that Christina and I both love about WeVideo, and if you take 2 seconds, Christina, can you click on where it says all? You know, right there on your screen, you have the little tiny, click on the where it says all. With WeVideo, you've got stock video, footage, images, it's already there. So if we're like, we just want students to learn how to use WeVideo in a few minutes, there's videos they can grab, pictures they can grab, drag and drop, and then that's enough functionality for them. Then after that, we can get into, getting into a little more polished work, prepping and planning and stuff, so.
Right. And the other thing I was just going to mention about that for students, especially, and even for myself, I hate being videoed. I hate being the person in the screen. And so if I can, I always tell my students, I try to avoid that. So one of the great things about the stock footage or just being able to grab anything online is that, sorry, I have another screen open and it is having issues. So one of the great things about WeVideo, and I was going to show you this as well, is every time that you take that video of yourself, it's going to pop it into video 1. And so the great thing about the templates or having different options in different video level is if you want them to record their voice saying something in video 1, even if it's their webcam that's there, as long as they put a video 2 on top of it, their video is never shown. And so it's their voice, but all you see is kittens. And so for a lot of students who have anxiety about doing presentations, if they have anxiety about sharing their video with other students, they don't want students to see their background, etc., they can pop a whole bunch of things on top of it. So for example, we have a lot of students that use it in social studies. And if they type in any location in the world, there's a whole bunch of video clips of those different locations. And so if they're doing a social studies presentation, they can say, well, of course, I didn't want to show myself because I could show downtown people walking in China. Why wouldn't I do that? And then it gives them that freedom and flexibility to still do a solid presentation and not necessarily have their face shown, which I like to support because I don't like it myself. Additionally, what they can do is they can work in groups. So if you have the free version, they can't collaborate. But if you have the paid version, they can collaborate. One thing to note about that collaboration is if one person is editing, it locks everybody else out from editing, so they can't edit at the exact same time. But that's okay. Or they can, what I usually tell students to do is create their own file individually and then share it on Google Drive, and then they can create a whole video at the end. But the other thing that is super great about WeVideo, I would say, is that it, like Google Drive, is constantly saving, and it's a web-based program. So if they totally mess up, on the left-hand side, there's a version history. And so they can go back in time, they can fix whatever they have messed up on, and that's totally fine. It also supports students because there's different themes and there's different templates that they can use. And so if they don't know exactly how to start, it kind of gives them a format for that.
So I have a question. The videos like this one of China that you just pulled up, is that only with the paid version or is that with the free version as well?
That's with the paid version. So any of these templates, I checked it out this morning just to make sure that I would be able to accurately answer that question. But on the other hand, what they can do is they can still, if they find, because YouTube is big and large. And so if they can do like a recording of their screen and record anything on YouTube, any other clip that they want, they can still record it, have that play, and then they can talk over it underneath, if that makes sense. So a lot of kids do that. They find, and I have a ridiculous one where I think it's Thanos dancing.
Yes.
They love.
It's my favorite one.
I'm not going to play it, but it's funny. And they love Thanos dancing on a green screen, and they try to put Thanos dancing in every single social studies video that they can, because then it's interactive. One of the things that they do, like for communism, they will just record themselves once. And then the next thing you know, they have 3,000 video tracks, and they will make themselves like replicate, because that's the way they view communism, is that you all have to be locked up in the same thing. But they can move themselves across the screen. And I do have a couple student examples that I will. So here is an example, and then we can move on to the next tool too. I don't want to spend too much time here. Oops, sorry.
So I'm sorry to interrupt, and I may not be following you exactly, but I don't have a paid account, and I can see all kinds of videos from all over the place in the stock video.
Yeah.
Just says try it now. And I have them all. Is it just that I don't have audio with them? Is that the thing? Or
Oh, I don't know.
A lot of the videos,
when I
a
tried
lot
it,
of the videos don't have audio. So it is true. You will find a lot of the videos do not have audio.
Okay.
But one of my questions, I think, and it's what Christina's trying to figure out too, and I don't remember, is with the free version, do you have access to that for a limited amount of time? I don't remember. And that's where I'm not 100% confident on that one. And then as far as the real-time collaboration, we actually have, and I don't know if Christina knows that, but we actually have real-time collaboration in our district turned on. So our teachers and students can actually real-time collaborate with each other on a video at the same time. It's still in a beta, but it's turned on for our instance. And it's supposed to be full version the end of 2021, toward the end. So, but that's what I don't know, Christina. If you found out, like, does the free version have full access to the stock videos and pictures and images? I don't remember. We've had it for so long that I just don't know. So
I can tell you there's a lot of cool videos here for free.
Right.
There are, yeah, there's some great, and there's also, if you type in green screen, you're going to find a lot of green screen examples that a student can pull in right there as well. And again, just the idea of, I just need to learn how to use this tool and use green screen. Great, now I know how to use it. Now I can go out and film a video with the intention of using it that way.
Right. And there's different ones. The students have told me over time, if you type in green screen as a single word, or if you type it in as just one word, that like there's different videos that will come up, which they think is funny. But they love all of these. They think they're super silly. So normally when I'm in a classroom, I just have them pull one of these ridiculous green screen pre-loaded templates in, and then the next thing you know, they're playing with the pigeon. And I walk around the classroom. I try to see who can create the most ridiculous video for me. And they like to see pigeons and kittens interacting.
Yeah. So I feel like, going back to the question, it really doesn't take too long for us to work with some second graders to go ahead and use WeVideo. I mean, it's drag and drop. That's what makes it so simple. It's just a matter of, where do I find the stuff and how do I drag it and drop it? I mean, there are things like, if you notice, like on Christina's screen, she's got right now that little blue, that's the playhead that basically tells where your video is. You could chop it right there. You could cut the video, but on the left-hand side, you'll see a garbage can, FX, and you'll have other tools. So there's other tools involved. But again, I mean, students can click and they can figure out something. And what's powerful about WeVideo is it's non-destructive. So technically, you're really not destroying the video. You can actually bring it back. So I love the fact non-destructive editing makes it much more friendly, because I'm not destroying my video and losing it forever. I can actually bring that back.
So even when you cut it, you can just drag it from the edge, and you can bring back anything that you've ever destroyed. So one of the freedoms of construction for students is when I have them go out and they're recording a video, they use their Chromebook, and you know how kids love outtakes and they always mess up. And I say, just keep it recording. It's totally fine. First of all, WeVideo has unlimited storage. You can just record as long as you want to. Second of all, if you made a mistake, you can just go back through, edit it out. No harm, no foul. And if you want to have a whole reel of outtakes at the end, you can do that, and we can giggle about it later. And that's the thing about WeVideo, is that it's not just for video. One of the things that I do a lot with it is I do a lot of classroom tutorials. So I walk through students through a whole bunch of stuff that we're doing. Anytime that they have a question, I use the GIF. So I create a quick GIF. One of the magical things about GIFs is that you can embed them into a Google Doc. And so it's an easier way of sharing some information, so that they don't always have to click on a video in order to access that information. Having the GIF creator on WeVideo is also a way for students to show their understanding. And so they can create a quick GIF also using WeVideo, and it has no voice. So if they don't want to talk, they don't feel overwhelmed with that, but then they can turn in a quick video or a quick GIF. And okay, so you can't open the student example. I'll play you the student example real quick, and then I'll make sure that those are all shared, because my computer is just being funsies. So this is just one example. I had one of my links, and if you can't click on them, I will change the settings, and they're also available at the end of the slide deck. This student, they were just doing a bento box is what they were, what it's called. And she just used a whole bunch of clips from WeVideo templates. She weaves them together. That one she took from YouTube. And it goes.
Is there sound?
Oh, sorry. I clicked on share sound. It said if you can't see it's clicked on share sound. That's weird. Sorry if you can't hear it.
You have sound clicked off on the video?
No, I was hearing it. So if you guys can't hear it, then now I have sound clicked off, but can you hear it now? Okay, that's fine. So I'll make sure that you guys can see that. It's a cute video. It's a nice clip. And it's an example. There's two clips that are there. One is an example at the end of the slide deck of students just using pictures and talking over them. So they recorded themselves. They just had pictures, and they can drag those pictures to last as long as they want to. And they use that. This one, she actually just used a whole bunch of the templates to share her video. And it is cute. Let's see if I stop sharing my screen for a second, if that fixes stuff. Apologize for that. See if I can fix that. All right. It's all fun and games until. But the other thing that students can do, and that's really great, is on this home page right here, they can make a quick GIF. So when they click on these, essentially it always goes to the same editor. However, it knocks off some of the capabilities. So if they click on GIF, it takes away the ability for them to record sound, so they don't get as confused. If it goes to the podcast, it prompts them right away just to record sound. So I recently had a teacher that had students do a podcast, and they were all just sharing audio. And so if you want a quick soundbite from your student, it's an easy way for them to do that. Are there any questions about that?
And again, as we go back to like what we had shared at the very beginning, like one of the ideas of WeVideo is it's another tool to allow students to have a choice in the way that they want to demonstrate their learning. So it's not always a 5-paragraph essay, hopefully not. It's not always a written paper. Hopefully there's alternative ways of having students show their learning. And again, that's the power of WeVideo I love too, is it's not always my video. I don't have to show my face all the time. It could just be my voice. It could be me demonstrating my learning through a short GIF that I could demonstrate and send off to my teachers or to my peers. So it's a pretty versatile tool to give students the opportunity to really demonstrate what they want to say and do.
Can you real quickly show us again how to cut part of one of these stock videos out? Because I keep cutting and it doesn't really cut it.
Sure. So, well, hopefully, if my computer agrees. I don't know if your computer's working faster than mine, Chris, if you want to take over.
I certainly can if you want me to. It's totally up to you.
And I can try. We'll see if it.
Here, I have to go to my video.
It's okay if you want to move on. I can figure it out later. It's fine.
No, it's fine. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Oh, snap. Yeah, we might have to just move on.
That's fine.
Yeah,
Go, just keep going. Keep going.
Yeah.
All right.
The good
Right.
thing is we've got some really good resources as far as how to use WeVideo. We've got a really great educator guide, and we didn't build it out, but we've shared it on one of the slides as far as how to actually use WeVideo, the ins and outs, the tedious things too. So
Perfect. Thanks.
So, and that's just one of the things, especially as we're thinking about students and engagement, using the media recorder not only gives them that opportunity to really be creative and to construct meaning, but it also gets them involved. So for example, I had one teacher use it and ask them to just create a positive GIF, and they didn't create this one, but they create a daily GIF as their opening slip into their class. So there's different ways that they can just use it really quickly once they start understanding the tool. At my school, at my site, I tried to teach all of the ninth graders how to use it. And I've also taught some of the middle schoolers and elementary school students, and now they ask to use it. And so they say, can we use that as our submission for our assignment? And it gives them a different opportunity. The second one we have is geared toward using Canvas. And so if you don't have Canvas, then, so how many of you, what was that? I feel like somebody said something. No? Okay. So real quickly in the chat, we do have people that have Canvas, correct?
we had a few people here, and we have a few
Okay.
people who are using Google Classroom. And I think when Christine and I were talking about this, you know, we're a district who's been using Canvas now. This is our 5th year. So, but if you don't have Canvas, you're like, hey, we have a different LMS, then the strength of what Christine was showing with WeVideo is it's much the same thing. We're going to show how to use Recorder for allowing students to show voice and choice, and as far as submitting work and getting engaged. So,
right. So this is what Canvas looks like. If you don't have Canvas, this is just an open share class that I have. And one of the things that you can do in Canvas is there's 2 different possibilities to use the Canvas Media Recorder. I'll just put the link. You can see this class if you want to, if you've never seen Canvas. And you should be able to access it, fingers crossed, even if you do not have a BSD account. But in this particular example, one of the ways that you can use the Canvas Media Recorder is in discussions. And so what discussions look like in Canvas, let me see if my computer will let me, come on. This is what discussions look like. So you give students a prompt, and then they have a button down below where they reply. And one of the things that they can do on that reply is they can use the rich content editor when they are replying to, this is what the rich content editor in Canvas looks like. And so another way that teachers use media recordings is they come right in here, and this is how to use or how to upload or record a media. So they just click on these 3 dots. Usually if they have their screen bigger, it gives them that option, and then they can record themselves. So if you click on that, it'll ask them if they want to use their computer to upload a file that they've already recorded, but if they just want to do it on the sly, it gives them the ability to record themselves. Again, I love it when I see myself in video. So you can just record your microphone, you can just record your webcam, or you can hit start recording. And so what some of our teachers do is as their bell ringer, they have a Canvas discussion, and they say, tell me 20 seconds of the best thing that happened in the last 24 hours. So their prompt for that for students is to click the Canvas Media Recorder. Students click on this link, they start recording, they get a 3-second countdown. And then they say the best thing that happened to me in the last 24 hours is that my son made a funny igloo out in my front yard. All they have to do is that, then they hit finish. It gives them an example of what that video looks like. Phenomenal, I tell you what. And then they hit save. It pops it directly into that discussion. Yippee. I love it, my video. I would always use one of those templates. I would never show my face, but all right. And then they just have to hit post reply. One of the great things about this is that teachers can use that in their instructions. So in Canvas, you also have the rich content editor. Every single day, you can use that recorder, media recorder, and you can verbally tell your students any instructions that you have for your course. So what I would do when I had my class last year is I gave out announcements once a week. We don't do that this year because parents were overwhelmed by all the emails. But when I gave out announcements, I would tell them what we were going to do for our agenda for the week. And I would make them a quick recording. And I would say, hello, welcome to my class. I'm so glad you're here. This is what we're going to do this week. This is why we're going to do it. I would save that recording as part of the assignment details. And then I would ask them for some feedback, and they could give me their recording as they went. By doing that, they could also give replies to each other. So in a Canvas discussion, they could reply to each other's posts, and they could see each other, and that builds that community, especially in CDL, for students to meet each other, hear each other's voice, and hear the teacher's voice. Chris, do you have anything to add?
No, I think it's great. And I think, again, like if you're not using Canvas and you're using a different LMS, that's fine. I mean, if your students have access to a Chromebook and you're a Google Classroom school or Seesaw, students can record right in Seesaw. I think the idea is just simply not always pigeonholing students to have to do text response every single time to everything they do. And so here's an opportunity for you to record yourself. Here's an opportunity for you to record and talk about something that you've done. And then students can respond to each other, again, through video or however they want to. I think just, again, giving students the opportunity to say, can I share myself? Can I share my voice without having to always be in text format always? So kind of supporting our students.
What I've also seen is teachers give students a prompt like they've asked students to make notebooks. We had a middle school class that was making empire notebooks, and they had to sew them together with a shoelace. And so then they used their Chromebooks, and they replied to a classroom discussion. They said, this is the notebook I made. And they read the whole book and they panned through it, and they were very proud. So it's just another way that instead of them just saying, this is what I did, I'm going to write a response. They actually got some materials out. They constructed something. I had a teacher, he's amazing. He had them show everybody, take a quick video recording of all the snowmen that they made. So they like to share that information. Not everybody has to respond. So sometimes they leave it open-ended, but it's just that opportunity to build that class culture and to give students an ability to share. I always try to leave it open for my students that they don't have to share anything about their house or their face or anything. They could take a video of, or they could just share their audio if they want to tell me a funny joke. That's fine too. But it is a quick way for them to share that information on Canvas.
Yeah. And, you know, and again, students who have a Chromebook, if you don't have Canvas, you can record directly on a Chromebook in video if you wanted to. The issue is just if I'm recording a video, what do I want my students to submit to basically post that or submit that? And so in Canvas, we have the ability to do it in discussions. It's already built in. It's a safe space for students to be able to do that. And that's really one of the benefits to that.
Right. I'm sorry, I got the wrong page. So I'm, hold on. They can also use the media recorder if you don't want to use it in a discussion. Students can always use it as part of an assignment. And so you can select when you're creating an assignment in Canvas that the only way that they can do that is to use a media recording. And then all they have to do is submit that assignment, record, upload media is right there in the prompt. Their only option. So again, they can, and they like to use their phone. Don't get me wrong. But since all students do have the Chromebook, they can use that media recorder right there embedded in their assignment. We've had some unique applications for this one for an assignment use. We have our choir. And one of the things that was always a challenge with choir is for our choir teacher to assess the student's voice in an ensemble. because she can't stand next to every single student and really hear how they're singing when other people are behind them. And so before, her assessments were to take students individually out in a hallway and have them sing a short piece. Now she has them record either with their Chromebook or their phone while they're singing with the ensemble, and it gives more of a real life example of their performance and how she could assess that in a more realistic way. Our band teacher saw her doing that, got on board. And so now when he does the band assessment of different playing strategies, he has the students go home. They don't have, they can either do it with the band, or if they don't like that performance in Canvas, you can set to resubmit as many times as you want. So they go home, they play whatever selection that they want to play, and they can submit that media recording to make sure it was the best example of their work. So I'm just going to pause there too.
Hello, and welcome to the Canvas Fast Track.
Oops.
In this 2.5 minute.
So do you have anything to add to that, Chris?
No, I think that was a great way of introducing and demonstrating using the Canvas Media Recorder. Anybody have any questions? Or I know we have a few districts who are using Canvas who are here today. If you have anything you want to share, comment, or question, or add your own strategies or thoughts, we'd love to hear from you.
And one of the advantages of using either the discussion or just the Canvas Media Recorder in general is that it's only a two-step admission or assignment submission. So if they're doing it in the discussion, they just hit reply, they hit the recorder, they start recording, and then they stop and they post. If it's for the assignment, same sort of thing. It's just built into Canvas. It makes it that whole process very easy for them. There's no external tool, there's no external login. And they just have that ability to pop it in, and it's quick, so it doesn't have a huge learning curve.
And we already mentioned, as far as WeVideo, in our school district, we have a pro account, but we also have it set up so that if students want to submit. So if a teacher creates an assignment in Canvas that's more of an elaborate video, like an actual production or an actual project they work on, they can create an assignment in Canvas, and students can submit that WeVideo project directly to their teacher in Canvas. And that teacher can go ahead and open that up in SpeedGrader, which is what we use to, give feedback and scores, and they can give basically evaluation and critique and feedback right there in Canvas. So again, another seamless use of using a video tool, but then being able to bring it in Canvas, so you don't have to have another account or another space to go to.
So those are the slides for that. And I also didn't mention, we also use it a lot with our ELL students because it's a way to understand and assess their oral language assessment. They can do it quickly in class, especially if they have headphones. They can have a language assessment. Sometimes they send them out in the hallway, etc., so that they can have that space. But there's different ways that you can use that. I'm going to turn the screen control over to Chris now. Are you good?
Yeah, totally.
Okay.
Absolutely. Before I go any further, does anybody want to comment or question anything we've been sharing so far? And just to double check, Christine, you can see my screen, correct?
Yes.
All right. Awesome. I don't want to give too much wait time because I don't want people to feel like this awkward silence, which I can't handle awkward silence whatsoever. So I'm okay with you just butting in. Like, hey, Chris, I was going to say something. You start talking, just do it. Just interrupt me. I have no problem with that. I do not mind. This is super informal today. So I just want to share a few minutes about Canvas Studio. You can see our slides. I don't really want to, I'll go back to our slides in a few minutes, but if you've never, Canvas, using Canvas is one thing. Obviously, if your school district's paying for Canvas, you can use it. If your district is not using Canvas, you're like, oh, God, how am I going to use this tool? Most districts are moving that direction. Not every district in the state is using Canvas. Canvas Studio is not free. It is actually another paid account or paid tool to use in Canvas. So WeVideo, again, in our district, we pay for WeVideo. We have 5,000 licenses. In our school district, we also have licenses for teachers to have access to Canvas Studio. So we've got 32,000 students using Canvas every single week in our school district. And so we really felt like using Canvas Studio for our teachers to have access to and to be able to use in their courses was important enough to pay for it. And so we're paying this year for Canvas Studio. Hopefully we will pay for it again next year. Even though it's baked into Canvas, it's what's considered an external tool. So WeVideo would be kind of an example of another tool like that. What you're seeing on in my screen is my Canvas Studio space. In other words, these are all the videos I've either made myself, which I'll demonstrate quickly for you, or I brought in from YouTube as well. But I do want to just briefly talk about getting into the why. You know, there's some really powerful reasons to use Canvas Studio in your classroom. One of the reasons you can see is to promote engagement. Canvas Studio allows you to create questions that will quiz your students when they're watching video. So no longer are you just having your students watch a video and that's it. You could actually ask questions during the video time and students can actually engage in those questions while they're watching the video. If you're familiar with Edpuzzle, it has a very similar experience to Edpuzzle, meaning I can take a video from YouTube, ask a few quiz questions, and then it will actually give me, as a teacher, a report. How did my students do? And there's 3 types of questions that you can do with Canvas Studio. You can do true and false, multiple choice, or I think, what's the other one? Until I just blanked, Christina. Multiple choice, true, false, and fill in blank. No, I'm not filling in blank, sorry. Is it? No, it's not. It's multiple choice, true, false, and then there's like, oh my gosh, I totally forgot. Anyways, there's 3 question types that you can use with Canvas Studio. When you bring those questions types into a video, your students actually get prompted to respond to that question. And then as a teacher, you'll see how they are responding. So I love that engagement piece. The other part of Canvas Studio to me that's really powerful, which I'll demonstrate to you in just a second, is it gives your students actually a chance to not only respond to questions, but they can actually comment in different parts of the video. So maybe it's, hey, I want you to watch this video and I want you to look for 2 things, really important things. And when you find them, I want you to comment to those 2 or 3 things. So it's a really powerful tool to not just consume videos, but to actively, intentionally use videos as a way to learn, to monitor, and to engage. And the other thing that Canvas Studio brings, which I think is probably as powerful as the first 2, is analytics. And so your students can watch your videos in Canvas, and then you can see who's watched the videos and for how long. So one of my friends, John, uses Canvas Studio. Every day he has an announcement. Every day he wants his students to watch his brief announcement, and he uses that as a way to track attendance. In other words, he can see instantly all of the students who've watched his video, how long they've watched the video. And so in that case, he takes it as an attendance for that class period of time. So I just want to get into Canvas Studio. So as far, again, it's a paid tool within Canvas, but it's a really powerful baked-in tool. So when I get to Canvas Studio, on the top right-hand corner, I can do a couple things. I can add, which means that I can simply go to YouTube and grab a YouTube video. So a lot of our teachers in our school district, perhaps yours, they're recording their Zoom lessons, their 10 or 15-minute lessons in Zoom. They're putting them in YouTube, and then they want their students to actually watch that video as a way to kind of find out, are they watching the lesson? So they'll take the video from Zoom, their short little lesson they taught, put it in YouTube, and then basically paste that YouTube video in here. And that allows you to use YouTube videos. You'll see right here where it says Canvas Studio. This is a YouTube video. The other thing I could do with Canvas Studio is I can record, and I can record a screen capture, or I can do a web capture. And so I can do a screen capture. And so basically something's broke because it's not gonna let me launch because I'm doing a Zoom, and that's totally fine. There we go. Let's go back to Studio. So basically I can record, just like, you know, Christina had talked about how in WeVideo you can do the screen capture as well. So in Canvas Studio, I can do that as well. I might have my students watch a short video, how to do something, and then I can make that as a resource for my students. So let's get into Canvas real quickly. Let's talk about the next thing, which is basically what I can do now is take my videos. And so in this case, this is just an example of just a Canvas page. Maybe I have a resource where I want my students to read. Maybe there's a short article that I want them to be engaged in. And then I can take the video that either I made myself or I grabbed from YouTube that was related to this content, and I can have my students watch it. So I'm going to go ahead and flip to student view real quickly. And then as a student, I can go ahead and hit play. I'm going to turn the volume off just because you guys don't need to hear the volume, but I can watch the video as a student. And at any point in time in the video, I can go, oh, I can add a comment. And so I can go ahead and add a comment. Wow, did not know that. And I can add a comment at any point in time in the video. And then what's powerful is, as a teacher, I can see that my students have physically engaged in the video by making comments on the video. So there's one here, but then also the students can respond to each other's comments. So not only, I mean, think about the old days. Hey guys, I want you to watch this video. You might have given them direction to watch the video, but if you were intentional, you gave them a couple questions or a couple prompts. Well, here I can have my students intentionally watch a video and ask them to comment based on perhaps some of the lesson or some of the content that we're working on in the classroom, so that I can kind of basically gauge their learning and gauge their understanding. I want to stop for just a second. Is there anybody who has any questions about that? Again, I'm not demonstrating everything. I'm not showing you how I got to YouTube and how I imported, but basically you can use YouTube videos, or I can record my own video. And once I'm finished, in this case, I just put in the video on a Canvas page where I might have maybe a short article for them to read and then engage. So any questions or comments about using Canvas Studio for students to go ahead and comment?
And the other question type was multiple answer.
Thank you very much. Multiple answer. Thank you for finding that. I knew that there's 3. I just couldn't remember. Okay.
So the kids are watching these on their own time. It's
Yeah,
not
this could be
something that you're watching
completely-
together.
Nope, this could be completely. Now you could have them. I mean, I keep thinking of CDL, but if we were in the physical classroom, I may have us watch the video as a class. That's totally possible. And then I might say, okay, now guys, on your own, headphones, whatever it is, I want you to watch the video and comment on that. So it could be done either or. I definitely think it's a very powerful asynchronous tool.
Got it.
Yeah, is that okay? Is that kind of responding to your question?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, awesome. Thanks for asking. Okay, I'm gonna leave student view real quickly. And then I'm gonna show you the other way that Canvas Studio can be used. So in this case, here is the same thing.
Can I
Oh, go
add
ahead.
something to what you said real quick?
Yeah, absolutely.
One of the ways that our teachers are starting to use Canvas Studio is to do that flipped classroom kind of idea, where they are recording a lot of their lessons, and then students are adding those comments and questions when they're at home. And then when they come back to class for that synchronous moment, then they can review all those questions. They can review what any kind of thing that they really needed to understand about the content. So it's just another thing that when you do go back face-to-face, it's a way that you could use Canvas Studio.
Yeah, and I think the real powerful connection now for CDL is a lot of our teachers in our district are using Zoom. So we can have our teachers record directly from Zoom, directly to YouTube, skip a step altogether, and then take that recorded video in YouTube and put it into Canvas Studio. I'm a big proponent of short videos. A lot of research says, and I can even give you the article, that basically says 9 minutes is your max, teachers. You should not present, talk, or expect students to be engaged in your videos longer than 9 minutes. 6 minutes is the sweet spot. But even in case, if you had a 9 or 10 minute video, it's a great idea to say, you know what, I'm going to put up my video. It's my lesson. I know 3 or 4 of you have missed it, but I'm going to, as a teacher, might put in a couple quiz questions, which I'll show you right now, or I might ask my students to actively comment on the video so I can see that they're engaging and tracking with my lesson. So yeah, a great proponent for flipped classroom learning. In this case, in this example, I am a student again. And in this case, I just put in, it's just the same thing. It's a Canvas page, so it could be put into discussion. But the difference this time is when I created the video, again, I'm just going to do no sound. This time I actually added quiz questions that I want my students to respond to. And so you can see there's a question mark right here. So I'm going to put the video just before the question mark. And so that it'll stop that video. And now my students can actually respond to that question. And I can say true or false, whatever it is. And then I could rewatch it if I want to, or I hit continue. And then the video is going to continue. And you'll notice I get another question coming up right here. The video will stop. I can ask another question. So what's powerful about that is I'm going to go ahead and leave. I'll hit continue, leave student view. As a teacher, I can quickly go to Canvas Studio and I can say, quiz results, I mean, if I had student results, because I only have a test student, if I had a whole class actively responding, then I could see what their response are. And I know our host is just saying we're going to wrap up, so I do not want to take much more time, but I definitely want to honor your time. But like I mentioned before, I can add questions. My students can comment to my video, but I can also track or analyze. I can see how long did this student watch the video? Did they watch the whole thing? And then I can also see either quiz or questions responses. So I'm happy to pause and stop, and then definitely have any questions or comments. And I don't know what time we're ending at. So
yeah, and we also did have some teachers that used WeVideo to create the videos. Then they brought them into Canvas and merged them with Canvas Studio in order to ask those questions and make those videos interactive.
Yeah, there's a lot that you can do with using Canvas Studio. So. And then the last thing I want to show you real quickly is if you want it to be a graded assignment, you can create a Canvas assignment, and you can use what's called the external tool, and you can actually use a Canvas Studio quiz that you created. And so what this does is adds an extra step up, and it actually gives a space in your gradebook for you to actually capture students' responses, and then you can give them a score or use that towards grade or just as formative if you want to. All right, that's all I have, my friend.
All right, thanks. I'd like to open it up for any last minute questions before we move on.
Can you go ahead and post in the chat the video editing guide that you talked about?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Thank
I
you.
added all of the links to the shared notes
Okay, awesome.
they shared throughout. So I can share that for you. And so if you just navigate into the collaborative notes down to today's session, 3 powerful media tools to use with online learning. And then in there are all of the links and examples that they went over today.
Oh, thank you for doing that. I appreciate it.
Okay, so let me switch over and share. So thank you to Chris and Christina for a fabulous session. So many great ideas. I don't know which one to try first. I think I'm really excited about WeVideo.
I wish we had donuts. I would say try donuts out first, but we don't have donuts.
I'm not sure what that means.
I'm just hungry, that's all.
Oh,
I could totally
okay.
go for trying a donut right now.
I would totally do that. All right, so if you guys click to bit.ly, or you can use the QR code for a quick feedback form so that we can find out, what your thoughts are for today's session. If you want more sessions like this and you enjoyed it, or if you have some suggestions for next time, it's a really quick way for us to get some feedback and find out what's really meaningful to you and what you want more of. A reminder that this is just week 1 of the next 5 weeks. So this week our focus is social and emotional learning. And next week we'll be focusing on connecting with families and students. And then on Thursdays we'll be meeting with leadership from 10:30 to 11:30 a.m. and then 3:30 to 4:30 for the teachers. And everyone is welcome. And if you want to just check in with others and maybe you want to try out some of these tools together, think about how you want to apply those thoughts and ideas in any of the sessions that you attended today, there's your chance. So I hope that you guys will join us. Also, if you join this, then maybe you'd like to invite some other people to join us as well. And so you can invite them through staff meeting planned. And this will include inspiration and strategies and guided questions. You'll have access to all the videos for the next 6 months. And all the resources will be included in the collaborative notes as well for you to look back on. And if maybe you missed a session and you want to go back and look at that, you can go to ipdx.oregon.org and be able to access maybe some of the other sessions that you might have missed today. And there's the feedback form again. I can go ahead and add that to the chat if you want. Get that. And that's all I've got. Thank you guys so much for being here.
Thank you.
Cool. Yeah, no,
Thanks.
thank you for hanging out with us. Thank you for being and then letting us come up with you too today. So it's
Yeah.
fun.
Thank you.
Thanks.
And
have
if
a great
anybody
afternoon.
has any questions or feedback, you can always email us as well.
Perfect.
I don't see the bit.ly in the chat. Is it there somewhere?
You know
Oh,
what?
you did it
I
directly to
didn't
me.
Direct messaged it. Sorry. Yeah, you know, I always got to go back and check that.
Here, I fixed
Make
it.
sure I share it to
Thank
everybody.
you. Got it.
All right. Thank you so much.
Cool. Thanks. Appreciate it. And
Have a
now I
good
can
day.
go eat dinner.
Bye.